So Amazon dropped their trailer for the new Lords of the Rings series. I would put clips in, but I don't know if they're gonna copyright strike them since this is so new. I mean, the trailer literally came out 3 minutes ago from the recording of this video, so I'm just gonna put in Lord of the Rings Third Age gameplay over the top of me talking about it. So it looks really good. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It's gonna be based mainly in the Third Age. The series is. There's some sort of monster. This woman, I think, is the woman who's playing Galadriel. She's like on a cliff. There's some sort of raft. There's a ranger. I think that's a ranger that's shooting a bow. And then there's Galadriel holding a stick with fire on it. You know that fantasy trope. It's just a lot of stuff in a really short time frame. It's like around a minute. If you can't tell, I'm really I wouldn't say excited, because there's been a lot of odd warning signs, but I am interested. Hopefully, this doesn't end up bad. I can't really pass judgment on anything. From the trailers, it looks good. I don't know how they'll treat the story. I don't know what they'll do with the story. It's gonna be 5 seasons, so hopefully it's good. They sunk about 2 billion into the production of this, so it's pretty much just gonna have to be good. But yeah, also the second half of this video is gonna be recording from before I knew that the trailer was coming out on Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't know that for some reason. Also, just wanted to throw this in there. Somebody says that there's gonna be hobbits in there. Hobbits aren't in the Second Age. They're ancestors called Harfoots. I don't know if Tolkien ever mentioned that. I'm a I'm a fan, like I'll say later on, but I'm not that big of a fan to where I would know like exactly when the Hobbit started out. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So boom. So Amazon dropped their pictures so we could get a look at their new Lord of the Rings series. It showed a younger Galadriel, younger Elrond. I personally am a really big fan of Tolkien's universe in general. I grew up reading The Hobbit. It took me a while to get to more advanced stuff like the Silmarillion or the main series Lord of the Rings. But once I did, I very much enjoyed reading the books, watching the movies, pretty much immersed myself into them very much. I still watch Nerd of the Rings and Indie Geek videos on stuff that's in in that realm or in Middle Earth, I guess you could say. And people were worried because Jeff Bezos came out and said that he wanted the new Game of Thrones in the Lord of the Rings reboot. And so people thought it was going to have a Game of Thrones type tone and themes. I really doubt that because of this quote from one of the show's creators. He says, to make a show for everyone, for kids who are 11, 12, and 13, even though sometimes they might have to pull the blanket up over their eyes if it's too scary. Now, Tolkien is a devout Christian, and I'm pretty sure who's ever running his estate is probably like looking out for that, and they probably got some sort of say, into the inner workings. Obviously, they're not running it themselves, but they said that it's going to have some of the events from the Second Age, and the timeline's going to be really compressed. I was watching Nerd of the Rings, and he made a really good point when he said that one of the main points is how men die quickly and they fade away, but the elves are these pillars that are always around, and that could be lost on people if you condense the timeline. And the main villain of the Second Age, Sauron, he corrupts a king because of the fact that the king is aging and he's scared of doing so. And so, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what's going on. There was a picture of a dwarf princess. People thought she was a queen for some reason. She's a dwarf princess. Didn't have a beard. Honestly, in The Hobbit, when the dwarf women would have beards, they were like you could see them, but they didn't stand out too much. And the woman had black hair, and she was a black woman, and I just feel like that would be distracting, honestly. So it's probably a good choice not to have her in there. As for black people being in Lord of the Rings types of properties, there's already been a precedent for that in the original trilogy. In Return of the King, the people who are riding the Munax with the horns, they're black people. They're played by black people. I think that's the only example I can think of. Now, people are worried that it's gonna be bad because they're gonna want to have representation and they're gonna force themes into things like Batwoman, right? But I don't see how you could do that in something like in such like a medieval setting. Like how would that even work? I feel like people's woke meters are so like overactive that they're like, ooh, there's something that might be woke. We gotta get on it and we gotta jump on it quick. We can't let it go by. And then people were saying that they were attacking the fans. Now, when I saw this headline, I I didn't even want to look into it honestly. It says Amazon's Lord of the Rings team knew they'd face Tolkien fan backlash over diverse casting. Now, honestly, and I know it's gonna sound weird, especially coming from a black guy during Black History Month, whatever, but it doesn't feel normal. It's in Celtic